All right, guys. Joe Saglimbeni back on Let's Chat Live. It's Saturday, and I decided to go live. So hopefully, you guys are out there and you're seeing me clearly and hearing me clearly. And let's get ready for this show. All right, Let's Chat Live. So today, I wanted to get in to talking about the midterm elections and whether or not they're going to affect stocks. And I don't know. I have some thoughts on this. I figure let me do a quick live stream and maybe go through what I'm thinking for the rest of the year for the performance of the stock market and how the elections will affect the stock market. So right now, the stock market is has fallen throughout the from the beginning of the year to now. Year to date, it has fallen over 20% or around 20%. The S&P 500, the Nasdaq, the Dow Jones are all down, and this year has been a tough year for the stock market. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And right now, we're going to in about 2 weeks we're going to decide who what's going to happen in Congress, the House, the Senate. Some governorships are going to change, and elections are in less than 2 weeks. So I urge everyone to go out there and vote. Of course, um, make your vote count, whichever way you want to go, Democrat, Republican, does not matter. Go out there and vote. So the key is this. I was thinking that this is a tough year and we have midterm elections. And I've been wondering for a while how it would affect the stock market, being that it's been a down year. The President Joe Biden, is unpopular, and you have midterm elections coming up. And I I I, I wanted to find out kind of whether or not there's going to be a positive reaction to what I think is going to happen during the election. So why don't we start there and let me give you my opinion on what I think is going to happen on the election. So I'll start off by adding some going to my screen here, and if I can find the let's see here. I'm going to go to my screen here, and we're going to go look at some polling data from 538 and Real Clear Politics. So last year on my other channel, Access Not Denied, I or 2 years ago, I did some polling data for the president for Trump versus Biden. So I'm considering on my other channel to do polling uh, for the rest of the, up until the election on November 8th, November 9th, I believe it is. Let's see. It should be November Tuesday Tuesday, November 8th will be election day. So go out and vote. But I am thinking of doing a polling on the House races and some gubernatorial races in the country, and I'm thinking about doing it. So watch my other channel, Access Not Denied, my other YouTube channel. Maybe I'll leave a link below. Though I don't know if I'll have time, but I would like to do one. So here is the thing. Let's look at some of this polling data, and let me just get a couple of things off here from my. Let's get a couple of things off here. Mm-mm. All right, let's see. All right, for some reason I can't get my Let's Chat Live off, so give me a second here as I get that off. Let's hide that. There we go. All right, now let's get into this now. Okay, so we'll start with 538 and we'll look at the polling and see how the polling is doing here. We're going to check out the US Senate forecast. So, according to 538, it's a dead heat for the Senate elections. And they're claim they're saying that it's a dead heat, and if you read it, the Senate is currently a toss-up with the Democrats ever so slightly ahead. The party that wins two of the three closest states will likely win the Senate majority. Republicans' two best pickup opportunities are Nevada and Georgia. However, Herschel Walker has had a scandal that may hurt his chances in Georgia against Warnock. And then the Democrats are also hoping to pick up a seat in Pennsylvania. But that race has also gotten tighter between Mehmet Oz and Fetterman. So let's scroll down on 538. And I encourage everyone to go check these sites that I am focusing on because they will change as we get closer to the election. And let's stick to the close races here. So this is the range right here. Either it's going to be 53 Republicans or 53 Democrats, some kind of in the middle. And let's look at the states that I want to focus on. So I want to focus on Georgia, Pennsylvania, and maybe Nevada. All right. Now, Arizona is also a kind of a close race with Blake Masters against Kelly, but I want to focus on Georgia, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. And we'll first go to the Oz Fetterman uh, race, where when you use this tool on 538, when you go to 538, you're going to see that the red is the Republican and the blue is the Democrat. You're going to see that Oz has been gaining traction while Fetterman has been losing traction the last month or so, which means that these polls are getting closer. And there is a chance that Oz wins this and you get a Senate seat going to Republicans. Right now, if we go to, let's go to Georgia, where Herschel Walker is battling Warnock. And now, just a week and a half ago, so Herschel Walker has been going through some stuff saying that that he's had problems with his ex girlfriend or something about paying for abortions, and so he is claiming he's pro life. So what's happening here is that if he paid for abortions, is he really pro life? I don't know how big this is going to change the race, but evidently it's not affecting Herschel Walker that much, because if you see, he's starting to get ground too. And the latest polls have Walker starting to really get the momentum here. And actually, that's all that the Republicans would really need would be for Pennsylvania and Georgia to go red. Pennsylvania and Georgia to go red. Now, Nevada. Nevada, I think, is going to go red. Here you have Laxalt against Catherine Cortez Masto. And here, the polls have been strong for a while for the Republican. So I think that basically this is going to go the Republicans' way. Now, why I bring this up is because if the Senate goes Republican, that means that the White House, which is controlled by Joe Biden, who is a Democrat, that something is wrong with leadership and that the people are fed up, maybe. Maybe it's inflation, maybe it's crime, maybe it's abortion, but whatever the case may be, the president is not really influencing his voters in a positive way, in a positive way, at least from what we can see, right? So that's the Senate race now. But here's the thing: if we go to real clear politics and we go to the Senate races on real clear politics, right here, we go to Senate. Let me open it up here. Battle for the Senate, and this is another website which kind of gets all the polling data together and kind of tries to predict what's going to happen. And on this Real Clear Politics, their projection for the Senate, and over here it's a little bit easy. They say there's going to be three pickups, and the pickups are going to be Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. They already have Pennsylvania as a pickup. They think that Oz has already won. If you click on here, for example, you see a red and a blue, and you see that Oz and Fetterman are almost even. Now, why do they have Oz getting a victory here? Because Pennsylvania is really a right leaning type state. So this will be interesting to watch. But let's go back to the Senate races again. And let's go to Senate map here. Actually, go Senate map, right? And their projection is that the Republicans will have a majority, 53 to 47 Democrats. That's what their prediction or projection is. Okay. Well, what does this mean? And if no one sees this, let me put it back here on this just to show you better. If the Senate goes, the Senate is the tougher, closer race in Congress. If the Republicans get 53 seats and the Democrats get 47, this is important because when I show you Congress, when I show you the House, you're going to understand why it's so important. So we'll start, since we're at Real Clear Politics right now, we will go to the current House, which is 212 Republicans and 222 Democrats and one vacancy. Okay, so there's a 10-9 point difference here when it comes to Democrats and Republicans, right? But the projection is going to be very different. The Real Clear Politics projection is 30 seats. That's 3-0 is going to go to the Republicans. So they already forecasted 225 automatically to the Republicans. And if you have 37 toss-ups, we have a shot here of seeing something we haven't seen in a long time. Something that we haven't seen in a long time. Maybe over 240 Republican seats. We haven't seen that. And I have it written down here. We haven't seen that since 2014. So until I mean, basically, the Republicans would have control and numbers that we haven't seen since 2014. And even in our House on 538, we see that 538 Republicans are favored to win the House, and their range here is 247 to 222, but 247, I think that 247 is a possibility. So, what does this mean for the stock market? What does this mean for the stock market? What it what it what it means, I started thinking what it means, and I had to go back and look and find maybe an article or two on this. So I found a couple of articles, and let's focus on one of the articles that stock market, and this is from Wealth Management U.S. Bank. How midterm elections affect the stock market. All right, now listen. It goes back to 1962 with John F. Kennedy, right? So the thing that I want people to focus about this is midterm elections, is I'm looking for the negative years, like negative 17.6, negative 13.2, negative 14.4, before election day. And I wanted to see how the market was affected when you had a negative previous 12 months. So you got your 17s, your 13s, your 14s. During Ford, you had 31% negative. Now, if we come down and we go a little bit more recent, we could look at George Bush, his father, George Bush Sr. there, 10.7, right? But you had a market rally, and these market rallies 3, 6, 12 months after. But how about if Republicans won the midterm? Well, during Bill Clinton, you had the Republicans win the midterm in the House and in the Senate, and you had a negative 3 months, but 6 and 12 months later, you had a positive return. 12 months later, you had a 23% return, right? So let's look at another time where the Democrats took control during George W. Bush, right? Now, I don't want to do that one. Let's do George W. Bush with the negative 16, and he ends up kind of, I think, staying in control. The House stayed in control. Let me see, 2002, the Democrats were the Republicans were controlling both the Senate and the House. But I want to look at the negative year, 16.4%, a 3.5 after 6 months, 3.5%, and a 18.6% in 12 months after. So let's go to and let me see now. Let me put this, so I keep messing up by not putting it on the full screen here. But just so you know, there it is again on the full screen. We're going to go to super recent. During President Obama's tenure, the Republicans actually gained, I mean, 2010, the Republicans gained seats. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want the negative. So you know what? I don't want to really go to Obama's because the market was still positive, but not strong. And that could be caused from the recession. That could have been the key during the 2014. But I want to stick to the negatives. Every time there was a negative time, which is now negative 20%, what's going to happen with the midterm elections and what's going to happen after? So, midterm average, negative 1% before, And then look at these numbers: 7.3% after 3 months, 15.1% after 6 months, and after 12 months, 16.3%. So, what do I think? I will tell you this. I think that the Republicans are going to definitely control the House, and we're looking at around 240 Republican seats, maybe even more. And I think they have a shot of controlling the Senate. And if they control by 52 or 53, that means they control the Senate and the House. And I'm not going to really go into it on this video, but they may even get one or two governorships on the Republican side. So there may be a red wave happening right in front of us. And what do I think that red wave will do? I think because history shows that if you have a negative year and then you have a midterm election, and that Republicans are looked as like stock market friendly, corporate friendly, small business friendly, I think the stocks are going to rally after November 8th. Actually, I think the rally is starting now because I think the stock market is telling us that Republicans are going to win both houses and that we're going to have a rally throughout all the way to the end of the year. And let's see if that happens. I mean, well, I don't know, but I'm tending to think that a negative year that we've had, an unpopular president, and a Republican red wave may cause people to believe and stock investors to believe that better days are ahead. Let's see what happens. All right, guys. So I wanted to do a quick live stream about that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, share. Let that algorithm work for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope to see you next week. Have a great one.